Thank you. I like it when people say, wow, you're taller than I thought. Don't like it when people say, you're bigger, which I get a lot. No, thank you all. I see a lot of friendly faces in the audience, so I know. Should I be calling the candidates on up at this point, Henry? Yeah. So you can come back. We're not going to be blocking a PowerPoint anymore, I guess. And so I want to thank everybody for inviting me. And since we sort of have a baseball theme going on, I'll put in a little plug for MPBN tonight. The 10th inning debuts, Ken Burns' follow-up to his documentary series on baseball. So wasn't going to plug that, but since the Red Sox came up, you know. The folks who have organized this great event here today have got it very well organized. Everything's going to be in timed increments. Each candidate will have a 2-minute opening statement about their views and policies on higher education, and then we'll go through 4 questions. Each will have 1 minute to answer them. And then before we have a wrap-up section, there'll be an opportunity for you all to ask questions. There's not a place for you to come up and speak into the mic, so if you have a question, when we get to that point, I'll have you raise your hand and kind of say it loudly. So with that, welcome to the candidates. We're going to start in alphabetical order and then move down one every time. So Eliot Cutler, that means that it's your job to kick this off and give us a 2-minute statement about higher education.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Eliot Cutler. I'm running for governor because I love the state of Maine and because I'm angry, as so many of us are, about what's happened to it. We're billions of dollars in debt. Our sons and daughters, too many of them, are leaving Maine to pursue opportunities elsewhere. We don't have enough jobs here. And our 2 political parties, I think, are failing us. One is consumed with the past, and the other appears to be consumed mostly by anger. But the past certainly isn't good enough, and anger is no way to govern. Maine voters deserve and need a different choice, honest answers, and real plans to lower the cost of electricity, health care, and public services so that businesses can create jobs again, and to reform government and to transform education. This is an important week. Tomorrow, Envision Maine, sponsored in part by Grossmart, is issuing its report on reinventing government, and today we have to thank the Mitchell Institute, the Compact, and the Community Foundation for this report on an educated workforce. For decades, we've been trapped in a vicious cycle where the breadth of opportunity and the quality of life for increasing numbers of Mainers has been in inexorable decline. People are angry and frustrated, and not one of us blames them. A weaker and weaker public education system at all levels has depressed educational attainment, pushing us to the back of the bus in the competition for capital investment, jobs, and incomes. And a weaker and weaker public education system has driven too many of our best graduating seniors to leave Maine for opportunities somewhere else, taking creativity and innovation with them and rendering Maine older, relatively less educated, and poorer with each passing year. I've put forward a plan called No Excuses that will transform public education in Maine at all levels. We need to agree on a strategy to succeed in Maine instead of accepting failure, and we need to allocate our resources, discipline our spending and investment in ways that will see the plan through to the end, and if we do that, we can be the comeback state of the next decade.
Thank you, Eliot Cutler. Paula Page. It's your turn.
Good afternoon. My name's Paula Page, and I'm running for governor because I believe the state of Maine needs to reverse direction. If you are happy with the direction the state is going, and you ought not to vote for me. You ought to vote for one of my opponents. If you believe that the status quo is not the direction we need to go in, if you believe we need to reverse direction, then I am your candidate. I'm the only one sitting up here that has proven to create jobs, to lower taxes, who have run a government, and I believe that the future of Maine depends on a chief executive that has a vision that will not have Maine people working to feed government, but government will work for the people of Maine. I think it's vital that we get back our country and our state. For the last 35 years, This state has been going in one single direction. And what we've ended up with is a $1 billion deficit, a $4.4 billion shortfall in the retirement system for Maine employees. That cannot be sustained. It is not the right thing to do, and we need to reverse direction.
Are you wrapped up?
No.
Libby Mitchell, your opening statement.
Thank you very much. It is extraordinary to see so much talent in one room. Probably if we took another hour or so, we could figure out exactly how to solve Maine's problems with the talent and the history in this room. I'm running for governor because I'm a problem solver. I want to build on the work that we have done to educate Maine students. I've been quoting that 40,000 student figure since I started my race for governor, because I know to turn this state around in terms of jobs, we have to get our people with the educations that they need. I had the privilege of having a big rally at the community college, and that's not my story. My story was the former president of the United States said the community colleges were the metaphor of how to turn things around. They accept people where they are, they don't cost so much, and you come out with a skill and you can go to work. We can create the entrepreneurs of the future. We can get it done. This is almost full circle for me, and if I never get to make another speech to anybody, I will leave this stage happy. When I was Speaker of the House, I used every ounce of political capital I could muster to make sure that every student in Maine got to go to the community college or the university for a year to get them started, because I knew if we could get them in the door, they would stay. And I knew then, I didn't know about the 40,000, but I knew we needed more education. Well, I didn't get that, but we doubled student aid for the first time in years, because people in Maine understand that American dream is still very much alive. People want to go back to school at all ages. I must tell you, I've gotten my law degree about 5 years ago, so you're never too old to go back to school and to pursue those dreams. And I know that businesses need trained people, that if we give Maine people the skills that they need at any age, we can replace that retiring workforce to go in with the skills that are necessary. This is probably the most exciting forum that I've ever had a chance to attend. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Libby Mitchell. Sean Moody.
Hi, everybody. I want to say I kind of understand both dynamics very well, you know, about the higher education piece of a person's life and career, but also the blue-collar, hands-on Maine community. A lot of our workforce is just graduated from high school, or maybe not even graduated from high school. So we've taken folks that, you know, have tremendous potential, young people. They're creative, they're energetic, they're vibrant, and to give them that extra additional training is just vital to Maine's economy. So I think what you've spoken with, that component of public-private partnership is really the key of how we're going to resolve the financial and economical crisis that we've kind of gotten ourselves into nationally as well as in Maine. So I look at the opportunities that we have. You know, we don't want to go from vacation land to retirement land. You know, we do have an aging state, we do have an aging population, and we do have an aging workforce. But how do we couple that, our generation, to embrace the youth and see the potential and unleash that entrepreneurial spirit and that power? One thing that happens when you start your own business at a young age, you have a fairly low ceiling from the educational sense. And there's so many good things available at the state level, the Governor's Training Initiative, DECD's work with us in the apprenticeship program. So we can raise that ceiling, break that ceiling, and get the education, the training, the leadership and communication skills that we need our micro-business population to attain. Because that's what's holding them back. Not so much the economy. It's just the lack of education in those business areas and interpersonal areas. They may be good at, you know, their respective trade, but they need to know how to build an organization. It takes a certain level of education to do that. And sometimes that gets bypassed if you start too early, like I did, 17 years old. So there's a tremendous potential in Maine right now to align that private-public partnership, and that's going to be the linchpin to move the state forward.
Thank you, Sean Moody. And finally, Kevin Scott with his opening statement.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Scott. I'm an independent candidate for governor, and I'm from Oxford County, Maine. I have been employing people in this country for 16 years, 12 of those on my own with Recruiting Resources International. And those folks have been engineers, and they've been composite analysts, and they've been machinists, and they've all worked in high-tech industries. They've all worked in aerospace or defense. Other opportunities I've had have been with MIT startups, with venture capital, coming out of the school down in Cambridge and seeking to pioneer or advance that next generation of custom analog circuit or something of this nature. So I understand education and the importance of it extremely well. I understand how it ties into the 21st century employment model that we need to move to here in Maine if we're going to secure our economy and do the right thing by our children here with opportunity. I will say this clearly, and you'll hear me talk about this more, the problem is K through 12. We can go a lot further in preparing our young people for the jobs of today right in high school. By the 10th grade, we should have kids that understand how to use solid modeling software. We should have children that know whether they want to go out and attain an associate's degree or whether they want to go on and get a certificate or a license as an electrician. We need to be certain before we run down a path targeting a number of college-ready students, how many of those students will not go to college. I did. I went to George Mason University. I also happened to file a chainsaw and split my own firewood, but that's neither here nor there. There are important jobs here in our state that are blue-collar, that are high-tech, and I understand that. And if we go after this K through 12 piece, and we bring some evolution and some forward thinking and innovation into our school system, we can have children ready by 10th grade as to what career path they're going to go on. You need to dissect problems. I think this is a great beginning, this work, this white paper. I've read it, I understand it, I like it, and I look forward to speaking about it with you all here today.